It's time to get lost in the mid-card. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where WWE Raw is in Connecticut. So if you put 2 and 2 together, you equal shit. It's Lost in the Midcard. Just announced Vince McMahon is backstage at Raw tonight. So I'm not going to watch live tonight. I will be playing Diablo 4. So I will put that on DVR while I work tomorrow. Especially after hearing that news, I don't feel bad for saying that. Lots of news to talk about this week. We don't have any pay-per-views on the horizon here really until next month. But
talking about Forbidden Doors later this month.
Later this month. I'm sorry. It's at the end of the month. It's not even close yet, though. We're still at early June.
Oh, it's close, sir. You got to keep in mind, we're just a few weeks away from not only Forbidden Door, but from the video game.
Yep.
AEW Fight Forever.
Yep.
It's coming.
Forbidden
right
Door,
around the corner.
Last Sunday of the month, Forbidden Door, and then later that week is Fight Forever. We got a first look at Owen Hart in the video game. We'll get to that later on. Lots to get to here. Forbidden Door is in 3 weeks, but before we get that far, we got to get the matches.
I'm going to Dynamite in 2 weeks.
We got to get to. Oh yeah, nice. I still have yet to go to.
Fuck, I think that's next week.
I've yet to go to an AEW show because
yes, I'm going to Dynamite next week. So
we all have a.
Please give me a good card.
We all have our calendars messed up right now.
Yes.
What's up, everybody in the chat? Thanks for joining live. Stephen Chambers, Mr. Mark Cho, Craig, thanks for coming in. Let's go ahead and get to it. But actually, before we get to it, I want to remind everybody to make sure that they are subscribed to our YouTube channel, Bleav in Pro Wrestling. If you're listening on the podcast, that is BLEAV, Bleav in Pro Wrestling. You get yourself Lost in the Midcard every Monday, your unofficial, official Raw preview show at 7 Eastern, 6 Central each and every week. You got Sid, SP3, and Rick Ucchino every week as well with their show live as well. So make sure you tune into those. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you know when we do go live. And also make sure to give us a little orange casty thumbs up on the video. Share it out. Let everybody know what's up with this channel. Let's go ahead and get into our main topic, our main story, the lead. Look at that guy. Fickle.
It's a good guy right there.
At
good guy.
New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion over the weekend, a very nature-esque video.
Nature-esque.
Played of Mr. Bryan Danielson hiking and talking about how good he is because, well, he backs it up so he can talk about how good he is. And seemingly has challenged Kazuchika Okada for Forbidden Door in 3 weeks.
I don't think there's any seemingly about it. That he challenged his ass.
That was good.
For Forbidden Door. And look, between that, the two top matches are they haven't been officially announced, but let's face it. It's Omega and Ospreay in a rematch from freaking Wrestle Kingdom for the United States Championship. And Okada versus Danielson? I don't even know if I really care about what the rest of the card looks like. I'm already sold. Forbidden Door 2 looks awesome. I'm freaking excited.
Yeah, man.
Steven knows.
Yeah, the first Forbidden Door delivered. A lot of people were like iffy on the card at first, but then the show kicked off and we got ourselves hell of a pay-per-view, one of the best that AEW put out last year. And
Yeah, a lot of people called that pay-per-view of the year last year.
Yeah. I watched Coldaholic put together a video of the 20 best. They ranked the 20 AEW pay-per-views because it's amazing that this company has already put out 20 pay-per-views. A company that does not do this monthly like WWE. And Forbidden Door made like the top 5, if not higher. I can't remember, but it was high up there. And they talked about how the card there wasn't really excitement going into it, but once we got into it,
so because they got plagued with the injury bug.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
so many things had to change on the road to the first Forbidden Door because of injuries, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain we've already suffered one change without them even announcing it. I'm pretty gun to my head, and I got to be right. I'm pretty sure Mercedes Moné was going to be competing at Forbidden Door later this month, but
well, she probably was going to defend
injuries happen. Unfortunately, yeah, she was going to defend the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. But
if I had to,
like I said, injuries happen. There's nothing really you can do about that.
If I had to venture a guess on who Willow Nightingale will face, I want to say maybe Kairi Sane.
I think that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I would not hate that at all. I still think we're going to see Mercedes in AEW next month at TD when they come to Boston. I think that's when she makes her official debut with the company.
MK in the chat says, I think we get Zack Sabre Jr. versus Samoa Joe for the 2 TV titles. They've been teasing it on Ring of Honor television. Also, do we get Funk? Do we get Funk on
Funk? No, we're not going to get Terry Funk.
Maybe you egg sucking dog. Do we get Funk on Forbidden Door? No. Do we get CM Punk at Forbidden Door? I mean, he's going to be back clearly on the 17th. I would assume somebody interrupts him from New Japan.
I think he's wrestling on night 1.
Yeah, I think so too. But
I think the reason they announced him early, not only for ticket sales, is because I don't think he's coming back to cut a big long ass promo.
No,
I think he's facing Samoa Joe at the United Center on June 17th. I think he's coming back night 1 to wrestle.
I wonder who he's facing.
I do think that match will likely somehow set up for what he's going to have to deal with at Forbidden Door the following weekend, because if you're not putting him in Forbidden Door, I think that's dumb. And to me, you have the open match to do what they wanted to do last year.
Yeah.
CM Punk versus Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do. I'd rebook that match that we were supposed to get last year, throw it on the card this time.
You could have Zack Sabre Jr. attack Joe during or after the match or something like that, and then Tanahashi comes out, something like that, and that's how you set that up possibly on your debut episode of Collision. And what a night to debut that, with roughly 9 days before Forbidden Door, and you've got a new TV show, and it's
they literally have 2 episodes of AEW programming. if Okay.
So that Collision
technically wrong.
Well, there'll be 2
Collision before Forbidden Door is taped. I think that's the only taped Collision scheduled.
They're taping it on the 17th
from now until sometime in August. Yeah, I believe there's one Collision that's being taped on a Thursday. I think it's the one heading into Forbidden Door, but I could be wrong on that. No, maybe it's not. No, it can't be, because it's the taping's in Canada. So maybe it's the week after. Maybe it's the week after Forbidden Door. There's definitely a Collision that's being taped.
Yeah. You would figure
early on.
You would figure Collision would go live from the city of Forbidden Door.
Every single
on the
24th.
And
I think you're right. Honestly, I think you're right on that. I think the Collision before Forbidden Door is live, but there's one following that. There's a date in Canada where Collision's being taped on a Thursday.
Okay.
But that's the only one thus far. But I also think Collision will be taped before. I think Collision will be taped before All In as well, because I don't believe that they're going to be doing a second show in the UK. I think they want everybody to be under the understanding that you're not going to see AEW anywhere else in the United Kingdom other than Wembley Stadium for their first appearance, and adding additional dates over there doesn't seem like a good idea. So I think Collision will be taped that week, and that will roll into, All In that Sunday.
Yeah. MK in the chat, like someone said somewhere else, put Bryan Danielson and Okada in bubble wrap until June 25th.
Honestly, I think that's why Danielson didn't work a match between Revolution and Double or Nothing. I think they wanted to make 100% sure that he was going to be healthy and ready to go for Okada. So they basically left him out of the ring for that entire time. He did the thing at he did in Arcade Arena Double or Nothing, and I don't expect him to compete again until Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll see him in the ring between now and that pay-per-view. I'd be shocked if we did.
At Dominion this weekend, Kazuchika Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi defended their never openweight 6-man tag titles against the BCC along with Shota Umino. So Moxley and Claudio and Shota, Okada pinning Shota with a Rainmaker, and then that's when Moxley grabbed the mic and says he has a message from the best wrestler in the world, and that's when we got that great. God, was that like a 10-minute or no 1 minute? Little 1 minute nature-esque Bryan Danielson hiking out there in the desert, and there's no rain in the desert, is there, Matt?
Well, I'm sure there's some rain in Toronto, so Danielson might need to rethink his strategy a little bit, but
them AEW content creators get CM Funk going. You egg sucking dog.
Please don't.
Frantic World, thanks for joining us. MK says, there goes my MJF match, Matt. Tanahashi for the AEW title. But now I'm throwing out Ishii, I guess, or Naito.
See, one, I don't want to see Tanahashi technically competing for the AEW Championship 2 Forbidden Doors in a row.
Yeah.
In 2, I don't even know with 100% certainty that MJF's going to be competing at Forbidden Door because his gimmick is he really doesn't like New Japan and he doesn't dig the promotion. I would not be surprised if MJF just isn't booked on the show at all. I honestly don't think he's needed.
Well, Wednesday we're gonna go along. Wednesday will probably tell you we'll go a long ways as to seeing if MJF competes at Forbidden Door. We're gonna hear from him this Wednesday as AEW is live from Colorado Springs. So we'll either if there's no progression towards something at Forbidden Door then he may not be in a match there. So we'll have to see there. Stephen Chambers in the chat, sure like to know what TK is smoking, having Death Before Dishonor on a Friday competing with SmackDown.
Well, first off, there's a couple factors here. One, Ring of Honor did a lot of Friday night pay-per-views during its time with the company. Not saying I liked it, but there's definitely been a Ring of Honor precedence for this being done. 2, the typical Saturday night slot that TK would like to put a Ring of Honor pay-per-view on is now covered by Collision. He's not going to be running a Collision show somewhere and an ROH pay-per-view somewhere else. So that's not going to work. So literally the only option he has is if he doesn't want to run Friday, he's got to run it on Sundays. And I think Sunday probably would have been the better choice this time around. But if you go back and look at Ring of Honor's history, there's an absolute precedence. They ran a ton of pay-per-views on Friday nights. So this is not out of the realm of something for Ring of Honor to do. I don't like it. I don't like it when ROH does it. I don't like it when Impact does it. But it's definitely something that's commonplace in recent years.
Then you just had NXT going against Double or Nothing. So
did not watch that episode. I did not watch Battleground, and I never intend to watch Battleground.
I had it on with no sound on my other TV, but then I watched
more than enough wrestling that weekend.
I went back and watched Dragunov and Dijak. That was such a damn good match. And the women put a good match on too. I think that was probably the best match of Stratton and Valkyra's careers. They had a very good match there too. But that last man standing match was tremendous. It might be one of the best matches of NXT this year. But hey, it has Dragunov in it, so that doesn't surprise you at all.
Dijak and NXT doesn't have bad matches.
No,
which is all the more baffling why they utilized them the way they did on the main roster.
Yeah.
Dijak and NXT just he crushes it every freaking time they give him the ball. He goes out there and fucking has a banger.
Yeah. Now,
And
is Collision going to be off the air for a pay-per-view at some point, or are pay-per-views just Sundays now?
from the way Tony talked on the media call before Double or Nothing, it certainly sounds like every AEW pay-per-view moving forward will be on Sundays.
Okay.
Regardless of whether they have to compete with the NFL or not.
Yeah.
Because of the new Collision deal being on Saturday nights.
Jesus, you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna be competing with something. You're gonna always.
They've only got one. They've only have one AEW pay-per-view competing against the NFL.
Yeah.
Every other one doesn't. It's not that big of a deal.
No.
And I think Tony will just make sure that the Jacksonville Jaguars don't play. You know, that Sunday night, he's probably hoping Jaguars have a bye week in November. And if they do, that'll probably be the week that Full Gear will happen. I'm actually, while you speak, I'm going to look up the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule for this year and see if they happen to have a bye week in November.
That'd be funny if they do. Let's transition into this constipated looking man right here. Oh, Roman Reigns. Looks like he has to go poop. Oh, Paul Heyman. Look at Paul. Look at Paul right there. He's like scared shitless of both men as the Usos sitting in the ring there. Roman Reigns hits 1,000 days as champion. Now that we have that out of the way, maybe we can get the title off of him if he wrestles ever again. Probably not. Probably not until SummerSlam. But the story continued and still is interesting. I thought it was a good segment at the end of SmackDown. Basically, Jimmy is kicked out of the Bloodline. Jay is still up in the air. He hasn't. Roman assumes he's going to fall in line.
Before we forget, I have to let you know the Jacksonville Jaguars bye week falls on November 5th, week 9. So there is where AEW Full Gear will take place, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking that news right now. That is.
Write the article, Sean.
That is absolutely when Full Gear is happening. It will be Sunday, November 5th, Full Gear this year. Guaranteed. There's no freaking way it'll be any other week in November. November 5th, Full Gear. Book it.
Break that news, Sean Rossap. We just broke it right here for you. Come on. Give us an article. It's a good SmackDown at the end. The story continues. Like Jay, Roman is assuming Jay is going to fall in line. We probably know better.
Yeah, that's not happening.
The pop when Solo stood by his brothers, though, like when everybody thought, oh,
I didn't fall for it.
No,
I didn't fall for 1 second. You go back and look at my Twitter timeline.
Yeah,
I was like, this crowd is going to be so pissed off.
Yeah,
when Solo spikes Jimmy.
Yep.
And I was like 6 minutes later, I got the quote retweeted. I'm like, there you go.
Yep.
Because to me, I saw it coming a mile away. Like it didn't surprise me at all. And we know we're leading to that tag match.
Yeah.
Between them and Money in the Bank.
Jay's
not turning on Jimmy because everything Jay has done for Roman in the Bloodline, this entire run has been to protect Jimmy.
Yep.
And now that Jimmy wants to.
And that's how we started.
Roman.
That's how
Jay's just going to stand by his brother. It's as simple as that.
And that's how the story started. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Jimmy came back, and
Roman put him in a compromising position and forced Jay to say, "I quit."
Yeah. So
because he wouldn't say "I quit" for anything other than the fact that his brother, who was currently still rehabbing from an injury, was in physical danger at the hands of Roman.
Did you like that little graphic video they played for the championship, the reigns? I thought that was pretty cool. And my main
takeaway from that is I was surprised they acknowledged CM Punk.
Well, they didn't acknowledge.
I was just like, well, hot damn, there he is, pal.
Yeah, they acknowledged CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. They didn't acknowledge Chris Benoit. I wonder why. How long did he hold that title?
There's a line. There's a line there. You know, like CM Punk and Danielson they might be wrestling in a competing company, but they're not, Benoit levels of.
Yeah, Benoit did hold it 154 days until he lost it at SummerSlam to Orton. Because they listed some people that held it for like less than 100 days. And you had Jinder Mahal at 150, and like, yeah, then all of a sudden you go into the 400s. Oh, look, there's CM Punk.
The
How
punker, baby.
about that? God, it's gonna be so.
The returning Punk.
Man, it's gonna be
I'm
insane.
freaking hyped up about it, man.
Me
I'm
too.
hyped up for that show.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that I'm going to the last AEW show before Punk returns, because it will be at Dynamite next week, which is a Dynamite Rampage taping. So literally the next show following what I'm attending next week is the return of CM Punk. I missed him by like 4 fucking days.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I would just like AEW to come to my state.
Someday. You'll probably get a live event, a house rules show at some point, and they'll see how you guys pack that, and maybe you'll get a Dynamite later on.
Of course, the big numbers that are never going to get touched. Bruno Sammartino's is not going to get touched. I hope to God Hulk Hogan's is not going to get touched, because that means we'd have Roman as our champion for another 480 days, which we don't want. Bruno also had a 1,200-day reign, and Pedro Morales is what is actually something that Roman will catch. Pedro 1027. So he's less than 3 weeks away from catching Pedro Morales's run. So it's impressive.
If he goes all the way to 40, does he surpass Hogan? Or does he have to go beyond 40?
He's got to go beyond 40, because he's still.
See, that's scary as hell to me.
He is still. He just okay. So he's like at 1,010 now. He would have to go. I mean, it would be past SummerSlam next year, because it's 400. God. It's 460 days roughly. So literally,
see, that's my main fear. If they're thinking, okay, we're gonna drag it out to 40 and drop it then, but then you're gonna have the people like Vince like, oh pal, look how close he is to passing Hogan. My God, that would be such good shit. And I'm just like, no, like, if Cody's not in Money in the Bank, I'm telling you right now, if Cody's not in Money in the Bank, he's holding this to WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
And then my worry will be, will the old man go psycho again and try to make him hold it even longer to pass Hogan, because they're so close.
MK in the chat, Kenta and Punk at
See, I would like to see that, and clearly Kenta really wants to do it, but I don't think Punk wants to do it.
Chicken.
I don't. Punk was interviewed, he was asked about Kenta ahead of last year's Forbidden Door, and they asked him if he'd be interested in working him, and Punk literally gave a one-word response, and it was no. He didn't elaborate, he didn't talk about it, he just literally just said no. I'm thinking there's some kind of underlying heat there, so I don't think we're going to get the match. I want to see the match. I think that would be a great match for Punk to do.
The heat should be with
Forbidden Door, but I don't think we're going to get it.
The heat should be with Kenta. Punk stole his move.
CM Punk Danhausen's move. What are you talking about?
The CM Punk stands for chicken.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. At JB Huskers on Twitter said that. So if you want to bury someone on your Instagram stories, Mr. Punk, it was at JB Huskers, probably the same on Instagram.
Challenge me. Challenge me to Forbidden Door. Challenge me. I didn't notice they didn't acknowledge World. I thought they did, because I saw other companies. I feel like
champions. Lex Luger was acknowledged.
Yeah,
he was definitely never a WWE World Champion.
No, he should have been. I don't know why.
But he wasn't.
Nope.
But
they had other companies.
Luger, so
yeah,
they were acknowledging other World Championships other than WWE's main title.
They were. I did see other companies. Yeah.
Because Luger was the one everybody was talking about. They're like, wait, Luger? Like,
because Luger, if it wasn't for Politic and Hogan, got the worst ending of a WrestleMania ever. Like I think he was supposed to probably go be champion around around WrestleMania 9 when the I don't know. I mean, he had
the report coming out of 9 is that Hogan was supposed to lose to Brett at SummerSlam. And then Hogan out of nowhere decided he didn't want to do it, and he dropped it back to Yoko at King of the Ring. So
was the Lex and Yoko stuff before or after 9?
Lex and Yoko was after 9 because Yoko had the title at the time.
Okay.
So they did Lex and Yoko at SummerSlam that year, and then Luger won by countout, and then they did the Brett Luger Royal Rumble 94 spot, the double elimination to set up WrestleMania 10, where there were plans ahead of that show for Luger to win. I don't know what happened. There's literal footage that you can find right now online of like a WWF Superstars taping that took place a few weeks before WrestleMania 10, where they had Lex Luger come out with the WWF Championship on. Like
I remember that.
They were plans for him to win at WrestleMania 10. I don't know what happened there, but there were definitely plans at one point for Luger to win that title there.
Man, God, I'm afraid now. I'm afraid. Oh, I'm afraid.
What are you afraid of, pal?
What you just were talking about. Fucking Roman passing Hogan now.
Dude, I'm telling.
And you know what that means? You know what that means? That means he gets to 1,500 because then they can put that on a T-shirt.
That's what I'm saying. Vince is so quick to change his mind on a hiccup. So if the agreement right now between Triple H and Vince is like, all right, we'll do the change at 40. I could absolutely see them on the weeks leading up to 40. If they're doing Cody and Roman again, I could absolutely see Vince go, "Oh, pal, he's so close to Hogan. He's so close. We got to do it. We've got to do it."
Cue that Vince orgasm meme.
An absolutely god awful mistake. But I can't.
You know that 3-tier Vince orgasm meme. You know, it's like Roman is champion. Roman is champion for 1,000 days. Roman is champion for 1,500 days.
Yeah, it could be.
Makes me hard, pal.
It could be really bad.
My God. All right. But before we move on, Stephen Chambers in the chat. Jordan Grace and Moose are free agents. Where do you see these guys going? I see Jordan Grace just doing indies for a few months and then probably coming back to Impact. I think
Jordan said she was taking time off from professional wrestling to pursue her other interests right now.
Bodybuilding, probably.
But she did say that she would be back. I don't see her going to WWE because she's made $1 million plus on her OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if you're making $1 million plus on something like that on the side and WWE as a company doesn't let you run it. I'm not going there. I'm not giving up my 7-figure income to go work at WWE.
Nope.
So it's for Grace, it's either AEW or you return to Impact. I think what will heavily dictate that is what Jonathan Gresham's contract situation looks like with Impact right now. Impact has been known for doing very short contracts, like
Aldous.
3 months, 6 months, stuff like that. So if let's say Gresham's deal's up in, I don't know, end of August, beginning of September. If that's how long Grace is going to be out for, and Gresham leaves Impact, they could both go back to AEW.
Would Gresham want to go back to AEW?
There's no real heat there. Gresham told the story about what happened.
Okay.
Like he went in depth on House of Wrestling. He was very evident that, it was kind of on him that the whole thing went the way it did.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, if they want to go together to like AEW or having Big Gresham return to Ring of Honor, like I'm not rolling that out. As far as Moose goes, WWE's had the opportunity to get Moose like 3 or 4 times in the last 6 years. I don't see any reason for them to all of a sudden decide to want to grab him now. I think he's just going to go back to Impact. I don't see any real interest in Moose from any of the major companies.
He's not as hot. He's not as hot as he was at his tail end of Ring of Honor.
Not even close. No. Not even close.
Moving on to our next story here. Speaking of AEW, this guy right here, we got a little update on Andrade El Idolo.
How you know?
This just came out today via Fightful Select that Andrade is heading back to AEW. Originally was supposed to appear in the same similar type of segment that we saw Miro and Thunder Rosa in, where he'd walk into Tony Khan's office, but he decided that he didn't want to do that segment. But the Fightful was not told why he didn't want to do that segment. He was at.
To me, it's pretty freaking obvious. If you were all going to do all 3 of those segments in one night, that was kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
You didn't need all 3 of them. And if I'm Andrade, I'm like, dude, you just had to do it to other people. You don't really need me to do it too.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just like, if you don't have anything original for me to do tonight, just leave me off TV. So like, I don't blame him for saying he didn't want to appear that way.
Yeah. He's expected to appear on the Collision brand. He's nearing an in-ring return. He was working out in the ring back in early May, but insisted he's not physically ready yet to return to the ring full time. Now things have changed. He's confirmed for shows in Mexico and was in talks for a show in Puerto Rico. They were not sure about the Puerto Rico one, if it was just an appearance or an actual match. Rumors were that Andrade got surgery in the fall to be ready for the debut of Collision. And
that's not accurate.
Yeah, but he said that we confirmed that Andre that nor the rest of the roster knew about Collision at that point. So that is
they didn't know about the idea of Collision until probably early to mid February of this year is when those talks really started picking up. So they wouldn't have known back in the fall, like, hey, Andrade, do this injury. We got a new show.
No.
Debuting in the summer. That was never a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. A little bit of a spoiler alert. So if you want to go step outside for a couple of minutes, it's not a major spoiler though, but it does have to do with Ring of Honor. We have found out a little bit of direction that the company is going to go towards. We did have a return at Ring of Honor, a minor return, the return of who the fuck is Griff Garrison. And also within the tapings for Ring of Honor, we found out that there is a board of directors. Of course, this was rumored and we talked about it on the show over the past month. So it's not a big surprise. That's why we're not too worried about giving a spoiler away here. But Stokely Hathaway is on the board of directors, but he is also going to have a little counterbalance. So he'll probably be the bad cop, and the good cop will be Jerry Lynn. They are going to have matchmaking and ruling authority, kind of similar to what Nigel McGuinness did when he was the matchmaker of Ring of Honor. But they can be overruled by Tony Khan as well. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic, in my opinion, Matt. I think it's going to add to a better storyline structure and just kind of an overall structure for the brand.
That's exactly what Ring of Honor needs right now. It needs some storyline structure because right now it doesn't really have.
It needs to quit making me log in.
Oh God, don't get me started on the app.
App sucks.
Yeah, it's like every other week I have to relog back in. It's annoying as hell. But they've got like maybe 2 or 3 stories going right now, and everything else is just matches. They need more story structure, and I think having essentially a heel and a face general manager, I think will definitely help enhance the overall stories that Ring of Honor is trying to tell over the next several months. Stokely's just gold on television every single time he shows up. I'm honestly more disappointed that this isn't something for Collision.
Yeah,
because I feel Stokely in a GM like position on Collision would have been incredible, but what can you do?
MK in the chat, Santana coming back soon. Hopefully he and Ortiz work things out because they could definitely challenge and win the AEW tag titles. Yeah, we have me and Matt and I were talking about Santana the other day on DMs here, and yeah, we don't know if they have.
I hope so. Yeah. I really hope so. They're better and more valuable together. They're not the same apart. They're both great wrestlers on their own, but together they are more. And I really and truly hope that whatever beef they had, I hope they squashed it. I hope they worked it out because, man, that's a tag team title run waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Like of all the teams in AEW who haven't won the gold yet, Santana and Ortiz are bar none the most deserving. So I hope they come back as a team, and I hope they get the respect that team deserves. I hope they get a tag team title run this year.
Hilarious a hilarious exchange on Twitter ensued after Friday night SmackDown. This title here says it all. Lacey Evans looks ridiculous, and if you don't believe me, she looks ridiculous. Dollar Store Sergeant Slaughter right there. Sergeant Slaughter's daughter got onto Twitter and says, "No, this is not okay. Who the fuck does Lacey Evans think she is? There's only one Sergeant Slaughter. There's only one Slaughter daughter. She is just a poser." And then, of course, Lacey had to respond with, "Your daddy's biggest fan, a United States Marine, and a bad motherfucker. You know who I am and where to find me." Yeah. This is this looked dumb.
Just get her off TV.
Yeah.
I'm so freaking tired of Lacey Evans. I'm so tired of the gimmick resets. I'm so tired of them trying to make something work. She's just not that good in the ring. Okay? If you want her to do something, send her back down to NXT and have her do something there. Like, for the love of God, just stop it with the Lacey Evans experience. Can we please move on already? This gimmick sure as hell isn't going to help her or anybody else get over.
Thank God that she lost. Thank God she lost to Zelina Vega, because I was still, I was like, oh God, don't put her. You know, Zelina's on fire lately. Don't put her over. Thank God they did the right thing, and Zelina's in Money in the Bank, because she's having literally the best run of her career right now. And so thankfully they didn't push.
I think at this point Zelina's my pick.
To win?
To win the Women's Money in the Bank match.
It
could change based on who's added, but right now I think my pick is for Zelina to win that briefcase.
I liked when Io came out to stare down Oscar, though. That was exciting.
Well, they could have that. They could have that match without the briefcase.
Yeah.
I don't think a briefcase is needed for that match.
Frantic World, what are they doing with Lacey Evans? I don't know, and I don't care. Hopefully jobbing the rest of her career, because she's just worth jobbing.
She's not good. She's not good.
Hopefully Ric Flair can knock her up again, right, Mark Cho? Woo! That was another dumb storyline. Anyways, let's go on to some more positive news. This guy right here, that'd be a great picture to see someday, I think. Lance Archer.
Man, Lacey Evans does look ridiculous.
Lance Archer holding the AEW championship. That'd be great. We haven't seen Lance Archer recently because, well, he's had a torn tricep he's been dealing with.
That's certainly going to keep you. That's certainly going to keep you out of the rain.
Yeah. So that's kind of the reason why, because a lot of people did wonder where he had been and whatnot, and but he is on the way back, and of course everybody dies. So hopefully we can get a good push from this guy. Deserves a belt.
He's one of the prime examples of how beneficial AEW having a second main show is going to be.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely see him when he returns from injury getting a big chance to shine on one of the two shows, because there's going to be a lot more opportunity with Dynamite and Collision now. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things is a Lance Archer entrance where he just grabs some scrub from the back and throws him down the ramp. That's always one of my favorite entrances in AEW, and hopefully that's in the video game. That'd be great if that's in the video game. But if not, that's okay. But it'll be good to see the Murder Hawk back again. He definitely deserves. He could definitely be one guy that knocks off Orange Cassidy eventually. He could be a TNT champion.
Dude, I think Orange Cassidy gets knocked off this Wednesday night, pal.
That's true. That's a possibility.
I think we're getting a title change on Wednesday. I think Swerve's winning that belt.
That is possible. We have more, of course, with Dominion happening. We got more New Japan news. New Japan G1 Climax 33. The competitors were unveiled. Also unveiled was Eddie Kingston is going to take on Kiyomiya. That's set for Climax 33. And then all of the participants have been announced. Of course, some of your usual, your usual suspects that are in New Japan. Eddie Kingston, his first ever G1. looking to see that there's a few.
I'm so psyched that Eddie is going to be healed up from his surgery in time for this.
Right.
He's been wanting to do a G1 for forever. So him getting to be able to do this is fucking cool. I'm really pumped for the Mad Cane. I think he's gonna have the time of his life over there doing the G1.
A few debuts in addition to Eddie Kingston in the G1, Ren Narita, Gabriel Kidd, Alex Coughlin, a good wrestler there. Of course, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols from TMDK. That'll be their first G1s. Yoda Suji and the aforementioned Kiyomiya, who's taking on Eddie Kingston. Those are all debuting in the G1. Of course, you got your usual heavy hitters. Okada, who has won it 4 times. This is his 12th consecutive G1. This is the 14th consecutive G1 for Naito. The 22nd consecutive for Tanahashi. That man just is durable as hell. Shoto Amino is also a first timer in the G1, so he's gonna be in there. Of course, Ishii, Takagi, all in it. Tomotonga and Tagaloa. Hikuleo actually also another debut entry in there as well. Of course, you got Kenta in there, Zack Sabre Jr. So it's El Phantasmo. That's his second G1. So it's a very stacked card. Chase Owens, Evil, Jeff Cobb, all in there as well. So it's gonna be fun. Matt, do you have any inklings who may win this one?
I don't have a clue. The thing about these tournaments is you always think you know who's going to win at the beginning, and they throw some random ass curveball at you at the end. Like the best of the Super Juniors last tournament, like the finals were like, what the fuck is this shit? So like I am not even going to care to venture a guess on who's going to win this.
Well, Kenta's been collecting belts lately. I would say he may be an early favorite. I don't know. You got, of course, you got your heavy hitters that are always possibles to win. I don't know. I kind of feel Kenta might be a guy to look at there, just because he's winning championships left and right now. This is pretty cool here. As you know, AEW's Fight Forever coming out in a little over 3 weeks, and we got ourselves our first look, thanks to Dank Ops, Chris Danker. We got ourselves the first look at Owen Hart in the game, and look at that. That looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, based off one of his New Japan attires, and there's going to be another New Japan attire that's going to be an unlockable. And of course, if you don't like the attires that they have in the game already, you can take them into the Create a Wrestler and make your own attires. So definitely not a bad thing.
Yeah, somebody will go in there and create it. I'm not a Nugget. Very cool to have him in the game, though.
Agreed.
So that's a great addition. Can't wait to get our hands on that game too. We may have to.
I will be getting my hands on the game early.
Sweet.
But I do not know if that's going to come with an embargo or an NDA or whatever. But if I get a hold of it early and I'm allowed to talk about it early, we will definitely have a hell of a rundown here on the show. I'll know more in the coming week or so.
Yeah. Yeah, we may have to do a special episode, or maybe if there's not much news, maybe the Monday after release, we can do a little something. We'll figure that out. We'll talk about that. We got all month to figure that out, so it's going to be pretty cool to see. I watched some of the gameplay. Man, I'm excited, man.
It looks so fun. It looks so freaking fun.
It does. I didn't even buy 2K this year, so
I wish I didn't, but I did. Won't be buying it next year. That's for damn sure. Not on day one anyway. Maybe on an eventual sale or something, but I'm not buying day one again.
Trying to say you're not down since day one there?
not for next year's game, I'm not.
Oh, brother. We move on to this little brand here called AEW. We had the first Dynamite after Double or Nothing this week, which was headlined with the the mixed tag match between Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Adam Cole, Bebe, Saraya, and Chris Jericho. What'd you think of the main event, which was what we basically knew ahead of time going into the show?
I thought it was a good main event. I felt like Cole and Jericho probably had the deadest match of Double or Nothing, and I think both of them went into Dynamite knowing that they had something to prove. And I felt like the main event was much better than what we got on Sunday, and I feel like we're good and done now. We don't need any more Cole and Jericho. Let's move on. I do believe Cole's going to be the next big challenger for MJF, but I don't know if they're going to wait until after Forbidden Door to tease that or not, because there's really no reason to tease it into Forbidden Door. They're not going to do that match there.
Yeah, Matt was gone last week, as I said on the show. I said that first half, man, it was not an AEW quality pay-per-view that first half.
I loved the opening battle royal.
Yeah, the ending was great too. Oh, the one-on-one too was great. So
and I thought Jericho and Cole were just didn't click, and the finish bombed.
Yep.
I thought the tag title match was overbooked, and I thought the women's title match between Hayter and Toni Storm was also overbooked.
It was an angle you could have done on Dynamite.
From there I loved everything else in the show.
Yeah, the show seemed
I thought the final 4 matches, including both TBS matches, the World Title 4-Way, and Anarchy in the Arena, were good enough to give the entire pay-per-view a thumbs up, because the way the pay-per-view ended was like on a gigantic momentum swing.
Yeah.
And I thought you opened great, you closed great, you had some misses in the middle, but overall I still enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it started to finally turn the corner on that 6-man open challenge, which I was asking who the challenger going to be, and our friend Scott Burks.
It was so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, you had to have the Acclaimed on the show, so that kind of made sense. The
Acclaimed have been picking up wins in trios matches for weeks on Dynamite and Rampage, and then they teased it after their win on Rampage Friday that they were gonna do it. So to me, it was just like there was nobody. To me, it was nobody other than the Acclaimed for that spot.
Yeah, and Wheeler Yuta, man, getting the pin at the pay-per-view, got the pin on Wednesday. Really putting Yuta over pretty good here.
Yeah, he's definitely being pushed right now.
Yeah, I mean, pinning Kenny Omega, I tell you what, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they have planned for him. I'm pretty sure he has I'm pretty sure they have a big match planned for him for Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
but I'm just not sure what it is. But I feel like they have a big match planned for him. So we'll see within the next 2 weeks.
What do you make of the whole Dark Order thing with Hangman?
Oh, fuck the Dark Order. Fuck them. I'm done with them. When they pulled that stunt on Hangman on BTE, when they went in and told Kenny about the Full Gear thing, tried to break up the Elite, I was done with them after that. For weeks, I've been like, man, I've been like, Stu Graves to stay away from the Righteous. Now, fuck it. Fuck, go play with the Righteous. Fuck the Dark Order. They're
dead to you now.
They suck. Evil Uno's not in Fight Forever. Fuck him. Y'all played Hangman dirty. If Hangman was a real friend, you don't screw him like that.
Mm-hmm.
And after I'm like, I'm done with the Dark Order. They're done. Mr. Brody Lee, if he was alive, he'd be beating all their asses with papers right now.
Oh boy. Possibly Jay White, Juice Robinson, Bullet Club Gold, possibly your next challengers to
I feel like we're gonna see a Bullet Club Gold versus Bullet Club match at Forbidden Door. And I don't know what that's going to look like.
Do you think a third member is getting added?
I do. I'm hearing a rumor that the Guns might be added to Bullet Club Gold, and at that point I stopped my purchase of the Bullet Club Gold t-shirt until that can be confirmed one way or another, because I was going to buy it.
I thought it was going to be a singular.
I heard from somebody that the Guns might be joining, and I'm like, I'm not buying this shirt for now. I'm holding off. So If they actually join the group, I'm not buying the shirt. So don't do it, Tony.
They are not Bullet Club material. Come on.
They're not anything material.
Steven Chambers in the chat. Any latest with Hayter and her injuries? No, just that she needs time off to rest and hopefully be good for Wembley. So
she'll be back in time for All In. I think she'll be back way before that, but she's absolutely going to be working All In.
Tony's going to announce the main event for Collision on Dynamite.
Was this announced this evening? I have not heard this.
I don't know.
Was this a recent announcement? I'm looking at the Twitter machine now.
Yep. Just broke about 20 minutes ago from AEW.
See, I went and looked at Tony Khan's account and he didn't tweet anything, that bastard. Yeah, this week on Wednesday night, AEW CEO and GM Tony Khan will announce the main event for Saturday, June 17th premiere of Collision. It's 100% CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
That's why Punk got announced. Because Punk's not coming out to glad hand and cut a promo. He's fucking wrestling.
Sell ice cream bars.
We're getting Punk and fucking Samoa Joe at the United Center in Chicago. It's gonna be awesome. Oh, I'm so excited. That's a fucking awesome main event, man.
Steven Chambers saying Spears turning on Starks. Now Spears I could see in Bullet Club Gold. I think that would be good. I like Spears better as his old 10 gimmick, but maybe he doesn't want to do the 10 gimmick, but the fans love it. I mean, they pop for the 10 stuff, man. So I'd rather have him heel or stay babyface, but MK makes a good thing here. Phantasmo. If AEW signs Phantasmo, that'd be a hell of an addition to AEW. He's a great talent. I think he would be great to be in Bullet Club Gold as well. Either one of those over the Guns, that's for fucking sure. Either one of those other than the Guns. Swerve won a triple threat to face Orange Cassidy, which Matt says he's going to win some gold.
I do. I truly believe Swerve wins on Dynamite.
Daddy Ass acting like he's the third wheel, not holding his weight, but the Acclaim still love him
because he is.
Oh, ooh, ow!
He is the third wheel. Let's be real here. Come on.
If you thought Dominic Mysterio had heat, holy fuck, Don Cal, you couldn't hear anybody. Holy
props to him for being able to still do his promo in that.
Wow, that was loud.
That was nuts. San Diego brought it Wednesday night, man. That was a great crowd. That was a great crowd from open to close of that show. And they tore Callis and
that Vegas crowd sucked, didn't it?
Here's the problem, and I've been trying to tell this to people, and they don't seem to grasp it. AEW is a touring pay-per-view brand. And when I say touring pay-per-view brand, I mean fans will travel to the site of these AEW pay-per-views. And that's because there's only been 4 every year. So you're spacing them out and you're giving people time and financials and everything to plan around these trips. But when you book Forbidden Door in Double or Nothing within a month of each other, people are going to go to Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna choose. Like, I can't do both. I can only do one. I'm going to Forbidden Door. And Forbidden Door is pretty much sold out.
And if I remember right,
Vegas is not a hot wrestling city. Like no. Vegas, like you don't bring pay-per-views to Vegas because they don't sell well. Like it's still, like look, there's still people that live in Vegas that like wrestling, but it's not a hot ticket.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas, I do not believe Double or Nothing should be in Vegas next year. Like, I don't care where they go. I think they should go to Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's where I would go next year because you can still do the casino themed thing there because Jersey's gonna sell. But Vegas is it's not a hotbed for professional wrestling, and it was proven. This go around, I think Double or Nothing cannot be in Vegas next year. I very much hope Tony understands that and is prepared to move it somewhere else.
Looks like possibly the return of Jungle Hook, possibly with the with Jalistico and Preston Vance attacking Hook and Jungle Boy making the save there. They were a great tag
It's
team.
only a matter of time until Jungle Boy turns on Hook.
Yeah, we thought maybe
100% he's turning heel.
we
100%.
we thought he would maybe take the paycheck from MJF and lay down for him at Double or Nothing. But thankfully
it's not a matter of if Jungle Boy turns heel, it's a matter of when.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does as a heel. Statlander had her first title defense with the TBS title against Nyla Rose with a win there.
I thought that was a really good match.
And then that was it for AEW. We have no Sean Ross Sapp update. AEW though, as we close things out, looking ahead to Raw tonight, AEW on Wednesday. AEW does have a few things announced. Jungle Hook in a Texas Tornado match against Jarlistico and Preston Vance. We'll hear from MJF, so then we'll see maybe if he's going to be at Forbidden Door. Ricky Starks and Jay White, that match ain't going to suck. And for the AEW International title, Orange Cassidy Swerve Strickland. I would not hate Swerve winning that either.
I definitely, like I said, I definitely think Swerve's winning on Wednesday. I'll be shocked if he doesn't.
He deserves it. So he deserves some gold. That's for damn sure. We actually do have a few things announced ahead of time on Raw by WWE. Of course, we knew this ahead of time. Seth freaking Rollins open challenge for the World Heavyweight title, and that is going to be answered by Damian Priest. Cody Rhodes, a guest on Miz TV. Becky Lynch takes on Sonya Deville in a qualifying match for Money in the Bank, and Natalya is going to probably lose to Zoe Stark because she just got paired with Trish Stratus in another Money in the Bank qualifying match. What do you think about?
Hopefully, it's not in 69 seconds like she got squashed at Night of Champions.
Boy, on her birthday of all things, too.
Good grief!
What do you think of the pairing of Zoe Stark with Trish?
Oh, I think it's very smart. I think you take any WWE rookie and plug them into a rivalry between Trish and Becky, and they're automatically going to be elevated. So clearly they see a lot in Zoe Stark, and they want people to care.
Yeah.
So plug her in. I think that was very, very smart to do. And Dominic just sucks, Daryl. Just stop it.
Is Daryl a Dominic mark?
Seems like it by that message.
We know he's
second guessing you, sir. What are you doing?
We know he's a Matt Taven mark, but is he a Dominic mark too?
Well, Matt Taven greater than Dominic. So
that's true. I like it. I mean, I've always liked Zoe Stark. I thought, especially since she's turned heel, she's really done a good job, and she's always been pretty damn good in the ring. And that Z360 finisher is pretty damn cool too. Yeah, Money in the Bank, man. Zelina wins that. That'd be badass. I like your plan for Cody and Brock to be at Money in the Bank for the final spot.
Yeah, but apparently that third match is happening at SummerSlam. So.
Yep.
Yay.
Well, Roman.
I'm not talking about your son, Daryl. For the love of God, you know who I'm talking about.
Well, boo your son then too.
No, we're not booing his son. Be nice.
Well, Dom has 1 inch. What Mark? I don't know about. Well, on that note, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bleav, BLEAV, Bleav in Pro Wrestling. Hit that bell icon so you know every time we go live here. Lost the Midcard every Monday, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Your unofficial official show for Monday Night Raw. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up on the videos in our channel as well. Help us get this reaching out to all the people in the world that love pro wrestling. Also, make sure you comment and share this out too, because we love the conversation. We thank each and every one of you for joining us live. If you're catching us on the flip side, either on YouTube or podcast versions, we'd love to hear from you. So come out and join us next week here again, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and Monday Night Raw's kicking off here in about a minute. Matt, any final thoughts?
Nope, my laptop's about to die. We gotta go.
Good night. Have a good week, people. Thanks for tuning in to Lost the Midcard. Brought to you by Bet Online.